Time for update number 6. Looking over there on the wall, that's a thermometer leaning up against there, and I've just taken a reading. It's 5 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, about 40 Fahrenheit. Quite cold. My heating's not sorted out here yet. I'm still planning on putting in a wood-burning stove at some stage in the not-too-distant future. So, the main line, let's follow it round. It forks off there, and you can clearly see the one track heading down to the staging tracks, which we already looked at in, I think, part number 1. And if you look there, you can see the main line continues around on the outside, and there is the inner track is a passing siding. So we'll just follow this all the way around here now, and it continues around, gets to the point where it needs to bridge. Now, foolishly, I should have made the gap to fit the bridges I already had, but I did it the other way around. Very, very luckily, I've discovered this old Wills kit, which has probably been in my storage bin for the last 15 years, and it's 00 scale, which is slightly different to HO, but it will blend in quite well, and that actually spans the gap there. And I'll either find another one to fit the second track, or perhaps even look at scratch building something, I don't know yet. So continuing around, follow the main line goes, carries on around the outside, and heads away from there. The inner passing loop then means, the way I've arranged the point work, there's a slip over there, and it then feeds back, if you want to, onto this side of the main line, so you can actually turn the locomotives around there, or, as you can see, you can feed them back onto the main line. The main line's that little section of track there behind the girder, which I've had a quick look at ballasting. Anyway, come on to that in a minute. So, back over here then, on the intersection, the point work over to our right here, this will be the locomotive servicing area, and all the other tracks are for coal hopper storage for when they come up from the coal mine. And you can kind of see how that's all working out. I've got storage on that side for 28 coal hoppers, and I think it's about 18 on this side. I've had a little go at doing some siding ballasting, and what I've done is I've made up a mixture using coal dust and ash from the bottom of my multi-fuel stove, and I've just sort of not mixed them, but I've just kind of done an on-site blend, and I've held them down with wood glue, the 50% water mix. I found a good trick is to get it wet is to actually spray it first with glass cleaner, because glass cleaner seems to have a very low surface tension. It soaks in very quickly, particularly important when you're using such fine materials. Right, now then, I've tried various bits of sub-road bed. Obviously, on sidings you don't want the big high profile of ballast like you have on the main track, which you get with the cork road bed. So I've just used some of this, let me just pick a piece up here. It's this sort of thinnish foam stuff that you get, comes in packing. And then in order to, where I change the levels, I've tapered it down just by using some old birthday cards. I had a pile of birthday cards from my 50th earlier this year, so I've just trimmed them down, and that seems to be okay. I mean, once you cover things in ballast, you don't see what's underneath it. What's more important is the actual shape and the gradualness of the gradient. Now then, I had a query from one of the guys who subscribes to me, C&O Modeler, and he asked why I hadn't shown too much about what was going on the loop down this end here. So I'll just quickly run you down. Okay, main line, follow around on where that piece of plywood is. It will then come around here, it'll loop over, it'll gradually go back down in level, back around the outside there, around the outside of that opening, still around the outside, and then at that position there in the middle of the picture, there'll be a set of points, it'll fork, and you can just see the track that then heads down to the staging, and the second track which heads back up to the main line. And I mentioned this was going to be a kind of a temporary thing, because ultimately, I'm going to take you outside, ultimately I will hopefully be doing something to make this a little bit better. Just bear with me. So when we built the shed, on this end here we put a concrete pad which was supposed to be 1 car width, but due to a surplus of concrete we've actually ended up with, I mean, you could actually probably just about squeeze 2 cars on there. It's about it's 6 metres front to back, and then this measurement across here is 4 metres, which is, well, that's 12 foot by 18 foot if you're still working in Imperial. And at the moment, well, this is the sheeting that would have made up the lean-to roof for a carport. Under there is coal for burning on my multi-fuel stove, and up here, this is my wife's little creation, which, well, you can guess what it is. It's a composting toilet. So what I'm thinking is, I've got all the space here, 12 foot by 18 foot. Why not, where the loop is just literally on the other side of that panel there, remove the end panel, cut a door opening into it, refix it, and then build a proper shed on here with windows and all the rest of it. And then I've got a 12 foot by 18 foot area that I can make my layout. So that is what I hope to be for the long term, but in the meantime I am stuck with the little shelf layout across the back, which was only supposed to be a test track of just the fact that I've expanded it into something a bit more than it was intended to be. Workbench area, not quite as tidy as C&O Modeler, but you know, well, it serves its function. Anyway, that's it for the time being, and look forward to part 7 when we've actually got the job completed.